Good morning again from the Australian Orienteering Sprint Championships here on this lovely Sunday long weekend in October in Armidale, University of New England. Let's hope the wind doesn't get up too much. Reminder that elites, you can be in the arena here until 9:30. You have to be in quarantine by 9:30. You go in the doors, past the cafe, turn left and then left again. It's a very salubrious location for the quarantine. There's lounge chairs and tables, and there's a toilet in there for you, and then you'll be told that you can leave that to go to the start area a certain period of time before you start. The reason for the quarantine is so that we can show the map on the big screen from around about 10, quarter past 10 maybe, depending on how the other classes go. We've got a very intense start at 9 o'clock. We've got Anthony Nolan finishing actually. One of the great helpers in the AOC 24 team, finishing there. He had the radio control was at 23:01, so we'll just see. We've got some radio controls working, and we'll have video from the terrain and also tracking for the two elite classes. The junior elites run the same course as the senior elites today in both men and women. So they can, both men 20s and men 18 can qualify for world ranking points. So we've got a challenge between the juniors, if you like, and the seniors today. And I've made a decision to wear my New Zealand top today that I was gifted a few years ago, in honour of thanking the New Zealanders for their participation both in this carnival overall and especially yesterday in the elite classes, because without their input into those classes, the quality of the field would nowhere near match what it has in the past, which it's great to have them come back from the World Cup and fly into Australia and then represent their country in the Oz Champs. So thank you very much for that. If anyone's lost any equipment over the last 9 days, up at registration there's a whole lot of lost equipment. There's also a straight 8 compass that someone lost last Saturday, which still hasn't been claimed. If it's not claimed by the end of the day, I'm sure there'll be someone who'll love to have it. It's one of Warren's straight 8 compasses, but there's also a bag up there, a black bag I believe, of orienteering gear. So that is up at registration. Hello.
Malcolm out at the start. Yeah. By the way, Toku, I don't have a spare battery here. Yeah. No, the battery doesn't have a blue stripe. Oh, there is. Oh. Yep. Okay, sounds great. Thank you. So you like that view of the start where I am right now? Where you are there?
If we can make it just a request, there's some of the controls are hard to put in the ground, impossible. In fact, they're in they're in blocks. If you see one that's been knocked over, we'd really appreciate it if you'd come and tell us, or even stand it back up again. And if you're actually punching these controls, can you be a little gentle about it so that you don't knock them over? Most of them are in the ground, but a few of them are in blocks. All right, we've got just under a minute and a half before the official first start. And we've got a camera at the start. That's up on the big screen at the moment. So you can see it's a very compact area. Course setter today, Serena Doyle, one of our younger elite. Set some fantastic sprint courses last year at the school down in near Mittagong. Can't remember the name of the school, Chevalier College maybe it was. So she set today's courses. And before I start, I should put a plug in for the mysterious Duncan Curry. I'm not sure whether he's around today, but if anyone wants a sprint mapper in the next couple of years, I'd recommend Duncan Curry. Duncan mapped today's map, updated today's map, and he also made the TAS map that was used last Tuesday. Excellent mapper. Young, keen, enthusiastic. All right, we've got Dylan Bryant finishing here. Dylan's volunteered today to be a roving camera person, so he's had an early start. So thank you once again, Dylan, for doing that. He volunteered to do that during the school's week as well. We'll get some corrected times shortly for these early starters. But we're now, if you watch the big screen, I think you'll see that the first starters are off. So there's the 9 o'clock starters, the Australian Orienteering Sprint Championships. So from our perspective, it'll be all over soon. But anyway, go out there and thoroughly enjoy it.
Watch out, Michael, you're in it.
So Dylan's time for the men's 18, 19 minutes and 49 seconds. So that's the same course as the men's elite and the men's junior elite. as I said before, the men's 18, the men's 20 and the men's 21E all run the same course today. It's a world ranking event sprint, and the same for the women. Women's 18, women's 20 and the women's 21 all run the same course. So the start list is seeded based on how many world ranking points each person has. So there's a bit of a mixture between the juniors and the seniors in the start list, and we'll talk about that in about an hour or so's time.
Which way did it come from? Yeah, where it's going. That's it.
Jamie Kennedy in the run through, one of the Rego helpers during the week. Just a short loop after the run through. We've had some interesting feedback from people who aren't actually at the carnival. We've had some very positive responses from people sitting at home watching the live feed that Living It Live has generated. Someone told me yesterday that at one point on the YouTube there were well over 400 people who'd actually viewed the live stream from yesterday's long distance. So we are, I think, showing through all this work that Living It Live have been putting into this carnival that there is a demand out there for people who aren't here to actually watch and listen to what's going on. So the commentary and the live streaming and everything else is, the video is being live streamed, so it's not just for the audience in front of the arena here, it's also for those people sitting at home who know people who are here. So as you can see, there are people going in all sorts of directions from the start triangle, which is actually right at the map boxes. And there's no pre-start, there's no run to the start triangle. It's right all there for you.
too much while I'm waiting.
I think you're pretty okay. Oh, I see someone in the distance.
Ah, bugger 'em. They can wait. Hello. Who's anonymous?
It's always a relief when you're controlling or setting these courses that somebody comes back on different courses and there's no problems. And we've got Jamie Kennedy there in a 22.01 in the men's 55. We've got Dylan Bryan in the men's 18, time of 19:49. We've got Tanya Kennedy in the women's 55 in a time of 21:14, and we've got Anthony Nolan in the men's 50A with a time of 20:10. So it's reassuring that all those radio controls that we've got are working and the units are in the right place and they've got the right numbers. So Serena can start to relax a little bit.
Has it dropped out recently? Okay, so I'm gonna say, are you on one live now? Can you go to something else and just test something? Definitely HDMI then. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been moving it, and I haven't swapped the HDMI yet. Yeah, just let me know and I'll try and quick change. Sorry, just trying to fix the HDMI cable, but we're on this camera always with the sound, we've got, I'm just waiting for the region 6 it. Is 5 me. Cool, sorry.
Sandra Stewart finishing there in one of the helpers in the AOC 24 team in the finish tent. Just wait for her time to come up. Might have to be adjusted because she's an early starter. There it is there, 25.46 in the women's 65. So we've got someone back in the women's 65A class. And on that course, we do have radio controls earlier in the course, but we have one fairly common radio control just before the spectator run through. So we will focus on that a lot, and there's great visibility of people coming into the finish from below where the commentary tent is.
Absolutely. Good morning.
Morning.
Great running, B.
Go, Bob. Push, push, push. Well done. Well done.
We're starting to get a few people in the run through. Paula Shingler's gone through in 11.54 out of the pre-warning radio control. So currently we're running time of 9:13 and a half. So coming up to the start it's 9:14. Paula is running the women's 60A class, and she's after she does the spectator run through, she's got a small loop of a minute or 2 or 3 before she comes up the slight rise to the finish. So a bit of an uphill finish, and I can see Paula coming down now. So her running time is about 12 and a half, 13 minutes. Small loop, and then she'll be into the finish. Greg Barber at the pre-warning for the spectator run through in a time of 13:01. He was an early starter yesterday, and he was I believe he was a winner yesterday in the men's 68 class. He's currently on a time of 13:01, so he should be into the run through very shortly. Amalia Zapata into the finish, running the women's 10. Just see how that comes up when the time comes up. They don't have any radio controls, I don't think, on their course. So Finn Mackay in the men's Open B finishing there in 14:21. And Amalia's time, oh, unfortunately there's a bit of a problem there. And she's down as a missed punch at the moment. We'll just have to check on that. Banjo Blewett Jones, no problem with hers. 13:48 for Banjo, currently first in the women's 12. And Chloe Mark Cant in the women's 10 is currently leading that class in 13:49. So there should be some more of the junior girls coming up the hill. It's all going to be very, very hectic. People coming everywhere, so we'll try and focus on the finish and the top place getters in various classes. For those who are watching out there in the ether, we've got people coming through the run through. We've got Linda Sester, Eric Smythe should be there soon, Anne Ingerson, and they've all gone through the pre-warning. Margaret Dogood finishing the women's 75. Her time's up, it's 28.50. Warren Key will be in the run-through very shortly. He's gone through the pre-warning radio in time of 13:21. Jean Baldwin. Through. Sophie Backus is finished there in the women's 14 in a time of 13:15. Currently in second place. Sophie Herder is from New Zealand, is currently leading that class in a really fast time of 11:18. Greg Barber finishing there in a time of 15:48.
This side.
Well, the Rat Ray into third place in the women's 10A class. We've got Helen Alexander shortly in the run-through. She's in pre-warning for the spectator control. Eric Smythe there finishing in the men's 35 in a time of 16:06. So that's the benchmark time for the men's 35. We've got Hayley Jenkins run into second in the women's 10 in a time of 14:18. And Zara Toes in the women's 16 will be in the run-through. She's not already there. Her pre-warning time was 12:48, put her in second place. But Anna Batchelor has just finished in the women's 16 in a time of 18:29. So that's the leading time in that class, but there's a lot of runners yet to come. Anna's the only finisher there in that class. Dave Meyer running men's 35. He's at the pre-warning for the spectator, 13:11. So he had a big win yesterday, I believe, in the men's 35A class. He's taken the lead over Eric Smythe, but only just at the pre-warning. Rui Blewett Jones, women's 10, has jumped to the lead in a time of 12:10. So Rui has taken the lead over Chloe Marchant and Hayley Jenkins in the women's 10A class. Warren Key finishing there in a time of 16:40, 52 seconds down on the time of Greg Barber in the men's 60A class. Linda Sester taking the lead there in the women's 55, away from Tanya Kennedy in a time of 17:48. And Felix Burkhardt in the finish in a time 65A in a time of 31:03. And do I believe this? Hayden Dent, men's 14, 9:39. Hayden Dent, men's 14, 9:39. For that moderate course, maybe a little bit too moderate and a little too short, but anyway. Katie Clausen in women's 16 into second place, 19:07, 38 seconds down.
Linda, can you come here? Or can you stand here, please?
Did I miss her? Lucy Jenkins has run herself into second place in the women's 10 in a time of 13:24, behind Rui Blewett-Jones. And a new leader in the women's 12A, Isabel Newton from Newcastle in a time of 10:41. So those young ones are flying. Freya Dent finishing there in 15:46 into seventh place. 3:36 down on Rui Blewett-Jones. I'm going to be very interested in any other men's 14. We've got Rowan Braid actually in the finish in a time of 10:53. So he's done 1:14 slower than Hayden Dent. Very, very fast time. Obviously a fairly moderate. Matt Crane coming into the finish here. This will be a fairly competitive time, I would imagine. We'll just wait for it to come up on the screen. Dave Meyer slipped a little bit, just a few seconds behind Eric Smythe. Layla Dent coming up there in the women's 12 into second place, behind Tessa Radajewski, I think it is. Yep, and 1 minute 20 down on the time of Tessa. So some pretty fast times in these younger classes today. Matt Crane Men's 40, 14.50. First finisher, so we'll have to wait and see how that stands up in that fairly competitive men's 40A class in a sprint. Frederick Johansson taking the lead in the men's 50A class in a time of 19.46, but I have a feeling that time will come down closer, much closer to 15 minutes, maybe slightly under 15 minutes before the end of that field today. And the first finisher in the men's 12, Ewan Shedden, in a time, what? 7.50? What's going on? Check that one out. Is it right? 7.50. I've just been told we've got people watching the live stream in France and Northern Ireland, and they're related to Ewan. And I'm still getting over that time, 7.50. If that's right, that is an absolute flyer. So no doubt the spectators in France and Northern Ireland will be very happy at the moment. So what time is it over there? Night time? Evening? Well, it's nice to see some of the other times above 10 minutes. Bit of a shock to see 7 minutes 50 for a course. Anyway, short and sweet. Amy Nicol running into second place there in the women's 16. Another New Zealander behind Zara Toes. So the New Zealanders are dominating the women's 16 class. Amy 1:39 down on the time of Tara in the women's 16. Another New Zealander, Gemma Hoskins, in the women's 14, run into third place. And we got the first finisher in the men's 10. Matthias Preston has just finished in the men's 10. He's the only finisher, but he set the time of 11:39 for the rest of the field to get under if they're going to beat him today. Florence Crane finishing in the women's 10 in 8th place. Yeah, it's fast and furious out here with these runners. I'm looking for the first place getters on the screen. We've got Janet Morris in the women's 85. She's done a time of 27:48. Unfortunately, I'm seeing a few MPs come up on the screen. People punching the wrong ones, maybe missing some. Shannon Jones, if you're around, happy birthday. Your mother's just told me. So happy birthday to Shannon and also to Robin Palace. I'm going to be very polite and not mention how old both of you are. But happy birthday and hope you have a good run today. Surprise, surprise, Alex Tarr at the pre-warning for the Spectator is in first place. Again, an early starter today. Alex running men's 80. And we got Lloyd Gledhill in the finish in the men's 80 class. So we'll wait for Alex to come into the finish in about 2 or 3 minutes' time. Helen Alexander in the women's 85, finishing in second place, just behind Janet Morris. 5 seconds there between those two ladies running the women's 85 class. So very, very competitive. Basil Baldwin running into second place there behind Lloyd Gledhill in the men's 85A class. Basil, one of the AOC team members, was on the parking over the Glen Burnie and Pine Tree, along with Jean and Terry Blewett and Cheryl. So thank you very much for Basil and Jean for helping out with that. Great stalwarts of orienteering. I can tell you that Matthew Stocks is on a good time at the pre-warning. He was first placed in his class. I'm having visual problems on the run-through because there's so many spectators, but that's fine. Stay where you are, and we'll just pick people up as they come into the finish. Top three, Carolyn Matthews in the women's 60 coming into third place, 113 down. Daryl Erbacker is at the pre-warning in the men's 80 in a time of 11:41. So he's actually, whoa, that's interesting. He's actually 5 seconds in front of Alex Tarr at the pre-warning. So we have a really hot competition here in the men's 80 class today. And David Hogg into third place at the pre-warning in that class. And Bruce Arthur at the pre-warning for the spectator control in a time of 13:16 in the men's 50. So Bruce will be running around maybe 15, just over 15 for that course. So that's a bit better than 7:50 for the men's 12, men's 14 or whatever it was. So here's Bruce now. I can see Bruce in the run-through. He was in the lead at the pre-warning for the spectator control. He's got a short loop to do around some of these big blocky rectangular buildings down here before he comes back up the hill into the finish. A new third place getter in the men's 12 there, Presley Schooler in a time of 9:41, 1:51 down on the time of Ewan Shedden. That's 7:50. I'm still getting over that. And second in that class at the moment is Lucas Schultz in the men's 12. Unfortunately, we've got a missed punch in the men's 10 there. Alma Walter finishing in the women's 14. John Hodgson in the men's 85 runs into second place. He split Basil Baldwin and Lloyd Gledhill. He's 2 minutes 15 down on Lloyd. Lloyd's had a really good run today. Oh, we have a stream here. Hilary Kane in the women's 75 into second place, 32 seconds down. On Pat Meekey in that women's 75A class. We got Sue Key at the pre-warning for the run-through in her class, women's 70 in a time of 12:20. So it shouldn't be long before we see Bruce, and there he is. Bruce is now approaching the last control, and he will come up the hill and run into the finish. And Alex Tarr has just finished in the men's 80 in a time of 16:19. So we're very interested in Daryl Erbacker. He was 5 seconds behind Alex at the pre-warning for the spectator run-through. So Bruce will have a time coming up on the screen any minute, and that will set a benchmark, I think, for the men's 50. We got Carsten Jorgensen at the pre-warning in that class. He's 1:32 down on Bruce. So Bruce has set a really fast time in that class. We're just waiting for his download to come up. New second place getter in the men's 10, Maxwell Pova, 53 seconds down on Benji White, who's from New Zealand. He's leading the men's 10A class at the moment. I'm not getting a printout at the moment for Bruce, unfortunately. Men's 50. Shouldn't be too long before Darryl Lerbacher, I think, is in the finish. He was 5 seconds up on Alex Tarr at the pre-warning for the spectator control. Fortunately, the results, the finish time's not coming up until actually people download. And there seems to be a bit of a queue on the finish, so we'll just have to be patient. No, that's not. We have some great camera work out there at the moment. We think that might be Grant Blewett. Is that Grant Blewett? No, it's not Grant Blewett. Oh, yes, it is. Say hello. Okay, quarantine should have closed 7 minutes ago for the elites. If you're an elite, men's 18, men's 20, men's 21, women's 18, women's 20 and women's 21. You should be over in the very salubrious surroundings of the bistro. Lounge chairs, tables, the lot. Well looked after today. I still don't have a time coming up for Bruce, so not sure what's going on there. I'm hearing it's 15:57, so we'll keep that in mind. Carsten Jorgensen should be in the finish soon in that class. And some of the results appearing on my screen and some are not. And I can tell you that Darryl Lerbacher has dropped a little bit behind Alex. Alex Tarr has held on to the lead, a clear lead there of 1:32 in the men's 80A class, with Darryl Lerbacher in second and David Hogg in third. Sue Keys just come into the finish, and so is Carsten Jorgensen. So I've now got Bruce's time up on the screen. He's leading Matthew Stocks with Carsten Jorgensen in third in the men's 50A class. Christine Brown from Tasmania finishing there in the women's 60. Paula Shingler is holding on to the lead there over Sue Hancock and Carolyn Matthews, with Christine running into fourth place currently in the women's 60A class.
It's been reported some people aren't running through, they're just going straight back round. I know it's compulsory and all that crap. Some people are going there and then going back. Not running.
Can I just make another appeal about fair play? There is a compulsory run through from the control up here on the garden down past the finish. We've had reports already of people not completing the run through. If we find out who you are, you will be disqualified. If anyone sees anyone doing that, could you please let the finish tent know? As organisers of sprints, we're getting a little frustrated with people not following the rules. You must complete the mandatory run-through. Look up the word in the dictionary. What does mandatory mean? Ariadna Isakova in third place there in the Women's 16 behind the two New Zealand girls who are still leading that class. Zara Toes and Greta Prince, I think it was. We have a new second place in the men's 12. Quinn Lomas is now 1 minute and 7 behind Ewan Shedden. So Quinn's time of 8:57. So those men's 12 are actually, they're flying around that easy course today. Maybe a little too short in hindsight, but anyway. Is Hilary Wood around? Hilary Wood, if you're here, could you come to the commentary, please?
She's shadowing people.
I've just been informed that we do have a camera on the run-through, so we will be able to evaluate the video to make sure that we spot everybody in the run-through. Jenny Enderby finishing there in the women's 55. She's taken the lead over a lead there. Her time is 14:43. So a fast time there. I'm just trying to read the second name, Anna-Man Venikova, I think, and Kath Chalmers in third in that class. A new second place getter in the men's 12A, Patrick Moundrell. His time of 8:35. He's 45 seconds behind Ewan. So I think it's going to be pretty hard for anyone to get under Ewan Shedden's time of 7:50 for that men's 12 class today. Grant Blewett finishing here. One of Australia's best ever sprint orienteers, Grant. Won the World Games in Tokyo. We'll just wait for his download. He'll be going off to buy the cake, no doubt, for Shannon later on. It's her birthday. Oh, thank you very much. Ben's just arrived into the commentary. So have you been out, Ben?
I have been out. It was really fun out there. I got tricked a couple of times out there. Well, one with route choice and probably a lot of hesitations out there. There was one section of the map in particular, Nick, that confused me as I ran past. And it's to do with the mapping of levels, I think. And I expected a building to look a certain shape and it didn't match what I saw, and that confused me for a fair while out there. Grant Blewett, though, he finished in second. He's 41 seconds down on Bruce Arthur. Of course, Grant Blewett, affectionately known as Frogger, carrying a Achilles injury at the moment, so not at his full speed at the moment.
So was this build? Was it the far end of the map on the western side?
Yes, Nick, it was.
Okay.
It was the far end. Now you've clocked as to what I'm referring to.
I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, we won't go down that path too far.
No, I mean, I don't have a problem with the mapping or anything, and I'm not trying to claim that at all. I just think it was confusing as I ran past it, and I didn't. I made a mistake in the sense of hesitating a fair bit, trying to recalibrate what was going on.
Yeah. There are some sections of the map which are very intense and very technical, but there's also some very open sections between the large buildings. So it's
a couple of little legs that you had to look to see what the ending looked like as to inform the route choice. That got me once, I would say, but the rest of it, I think, it's a lot of fun out there. So
yeah.
Wish I could have just run a bit faster, but I probably needed to have trained better as well.
Don't we all? Don't we all wish we could run faster? In fact, some of us wish we could actually run.
So Nick, I see you're supporting the New Zealand team today.
Yeah, I said earlier in the commentary that it's really in thanking them for coming all this way and being very competitive, and really yesterday highlighted the dedication and I'm not sure what other words you can use, but enthusiasm that these New Zealand orienteers have for competing in Australia. And it was so great to have them here yesterday in the elite field. Without them in that elite field, it would not have been as exciting as it was. And they gifted me this in 2017 when I was the controller for the World Masters, and I thought I'd bring it out today and thank New Zealand for their participation here, both at the schools level and also at the senior elite level. And I thought my screen had just disappeared, but it's just magically come back. So we are focusing only on probably first and second places at this stage because it's really fast and furious. And it shouldn't be too long before we get some elites into the run through.
Yeah, I've just noticed, Nick, we've got two split times just come up. One for the men's 21 elite course. We've got the first starter as looks like they've been out for 3 minutes by the looks, and same with our first women's 20 elite runner, Gemma Burley from the Southern Arrows, out on the course. So it won't be too long and we'll start seeing our elites coming through.
We've got Marcus Cozzolato from South Australia setting a time there, the fastest time in the men's 16, 17-18, but I have a feeling that's going to come way down, maybe under the 15 before the end of that field comes through. It's a very competitive class, the men's 16.
Yeah, my time today, Nick, was just over 17 minutes. I suspect I'm probably a couple of minutes outside the winning courses. My judgment on the course setting today was that they've probably nailed about a 14-15 minute winning time for our course. So it looks like the course setters have done a good job of getting these lengths right. Except for perhaps a couple of short ones I heard about. A 7 minutes 50, did I hear?
Yeah, the men's 12. Oh, 7:50. I'm still getting up off the ground after that one. But he looks like he's going to win that class quite comfortably, Ewan Shedden.
Yeah. And Andy Hogg's just slotted into third place in the men's 50. So that's a Bruce Arthur, Grant Blewett, Andy Hogg. That's not a bad WOC relay team from a few years ago.
No. And Leo Zapata finishing there in the men's and women's 10. Now, interesting, Leo Zapata is directly related to me, but he's also the the last person alphabetically in the start list. He beats his dad. Jose is the second last alphabetically, and Leo is the last.
Save the best for last, as they say.
Yep. I did see a time there for Dylan Bryant at the spectator pre-warning in the men's 16, and he was leading at that point. So he should be probably on the last loop now. Sorry, it's Dylan's brother. My apologies. Dylan's out there running the camera for Living It Live.
Zipping up 7 events in 9 days. If it doesn't hurt, you didn't run properly. At the start. Oh.
Duncan's still there, coming into men's 16 in a time of 17:39, 21 seconds down on Marcus Cozzolato. But as I said a few minutes ago, I think that time's going to come down well under the 16, maybe even 15 minutes in the men's 16 class.
So we do have a few elites out on the course now. For those that have run, you will have gone through the run through. We do have a radio split time on the start of that run leg, so we will get pre-warnings of individuals running through our spectator run through area. And then from that place on, for those that have run, you will have also seen that there's not much of a course left after that. There's probably 4, 5, 6 controls maybe, depending on your course. And the elites are the same. So basically, as they go through the spectator run through, they're about 2 minutes away from the finish. So we won't know, we're blind as to what happens over those late stages, but we'll get a decent idea that they're about 2 minutes away from the finish as they go through that spectator run through.
And the men's 16 is now warming up, but seriously, we've got Eli Dent 4 seconds behind Miles Bryant at the pre-warning for the spectator run through. By my calculator, there goes Eli now through the run through with that really distinctive style. Miles is in front of him, so it shouldn't be too long before Miles comes into the finish. And it looks like these two are going to set a very fast time in the men's 16.
The women's 70, we've got Robin Uphill's just finished from Onkaparinga Hills in South Australia. She's in 3rd place, 17:28. The leader of that class is Jenny Bourne. She's run a scorcher of a time, 14:20. And Sue Keys splits those two at the moment. So it's Jenny, Sue and Robin. And the finisher running into the finish right now, Louise Fairfax, will be up there. It's been highly competitive between Jenny Bourne and Louise Fairfax this weekend. So we'll just wait for Louise's time.
I'm gonna wait for that.
She was one of these anti-vaxxers. Doesn't need antibiotics, does it?
We have a very fast finish here coming into the finish chute. Wearing a Swedish top. We'll just wait for that time. Louise Fairfax time's now up in the women's 70. 3 minutes and 6 down on the time of Jenny Bourne.
So I suspect Louise is a fast runner, so it must have been a couple of mistakes out there. So Jenny Bourne has come through and won both the long and the sprint in the women's 70 class, and Sue Key has climbed over Louise Fairfax in that particular category for the sprint race. So tight competition there.
Yeah. Pre-warning for the women's 40, Felicity Brown at the spectator run-through. She's leading that class at that point of the course. So here she comes now down the run-through wearing the Central Coast Orienteers top.
So we've got our first men's 21 elite has come through the first radio control. It's the first starter, Jack Marshall from the Southern Arrows in 6 minutes 17. So that's our early standard to watch. Eli Dent has finished, and as suspected, they've started to run well and truly under 15 minutes, and so Eli Dent has taken the lead in 13:25. He's only 6 seconds ahead of Miles Bryant, though, and Alton Freeman is back in third place at the moment. So I suspect Eli and Miles will be looking pretty good for a podium position with those times in the just under 13.5 minutes. Very fast effort out there. Rob Garden, men's 75A, is in second place behind Tony Radford, with Paul Hoopman in third, and there's 10 seconds splitting first, second and third at the moment. So Tony Radford on 18:32, Rob Garden 10 seconds back, and then another 10 seconds back to Paul Hoopman. So nice tight racing in the men's 75A class.
Yep. It's Gordon Wilson in the men's 70 class there, coming into the finish. Current leader in that class, which is my class, is Jeff Armstrong. And Nick Collins in second and Roke Prendergast in third. Gordon's 1:45 down in fourth place.
You mentioned Felicity Brown before going through the spectators. She's now just punched the finish. So that gives you an idea of how long it takes between the spectator control and the final control.
Yep. Some courses have a slightly longer loop in the last section and some have a fairly short loop.
Felicity Brown has dropped into the lead though, so she's obviously had no trouble in the end there. She's in first place in women's 70. Felicity Brown will not forgive me for saying that. So Felicity Brown, first place in women's 40. She's run just under 18 minutes for that course. We do have a hot seat here today. So as the leaders come through, they'll be sitting on the hot seat until someone else can take their lead. Otherwise, they'll stay until they get to claim the medal as the winner. Just had May Sneeve up on screen. I'm not sure where that particular footage was taken. Marina Ishakova is finished and she's settled into second place in women's 45A. So Kathy Dent having a very strong lead there. She's leading that class by around 40 seconds at this point in time. In that class though, Sarah Prince is about to go through the run through. We'll catch her very shortly running through from New Zealand. She was the winner, of course, in the women's 45A class yesterday, and she has come through that spectator control around about, or actually 16 seconds behind Kathy Dent's time. So That could be the deciding couple of runners for the win today, I think. Be a hot battle here, but whether Sarah can catch up that last 16 seconds. And Kathy Dent, I'm sure, will be sitting there thinking, how fast did I run that last section? Are there another 16 seconds? And I can see Sarah running down now. She's about to round the corner, and now she'll run past the screen. So that's Sarah running through now. She's a couple of seconds behind Kathy Dent at this stage. Mace Neve coming into the finish in the same class as well. I've heard Mace Neve is a little bit injured with a bit of a calf injury, so not looking her full running self. We do have our first elite runner through the pre-warning, and so you will see them running around through the spectator class in a minute. It's Jack Marshall from the Southern Arrows. He was the first starter. And I am being told that it does look like a couple of these elites have started earlier than their original start time. So they are out on the course. They are running through the elite course, but it's not as part of the big cluster that will come through a bit later. Mace Neve has slotted herself into second place after I've just told you that she has that calf injury. She's dropped into second place behind Felicity Brown in the women's 40. And here's Sarah coming in. So this is the tight battle for the women's 45 A class. Sarah, the winner yesterday, she came through the spectator control a few seconds down on Kathy Dent. Finishing now. And we'll wait a couple of seconds for that download to see how she's gone and whether she's been able to manage to catch those 16 seconds over the final stages. Gemma Burley, another Southern Arrow, the women's 20 elite course, should be coming through this spectator leg very shortly as well. Again, one of the early starters today. Terry Blewett coming into the finish right now. I thought, by the look on his face, I thought there was a bit of a curse of the uphill finish, but he's coming through. Ted van der Gelderman will come through the spectator radio control. He's just taken the lead in the men's 70 class through that radio split. So Ted's obviously on a pretty good run there. He's taken the lead by about a minute and a few seconds through that space. And I'm in suspense for the women's 45 A class that I was calling for Sarah Prince, but I've got a little bit of a problem with my downloads at the moment. So Ross Barr has taken the lead in the men's 75A course. He finished a short while ago. Lachlan Braid has just finished in men's 16, but he is a few minutes behind Eli Dent's time of 13:25. So Eli Dent is looking very strong, probably for the win there. So Jack Marshall in the men's 21 elite course is our first elite finisher that we have. In the men's 21 elite course, he's run a time of 18:54. So our very early leader should be in the hot seat.
So can someone grab and ask Jack if he could take his place in the hot seat, please? Men's 21 elite course, that's course 1. We want you in the hot seat. There's lollies there. And you will stay there until... Yes, he's there. He's very pleased to be there. Thank you very much.
I think the lollies tempted him, Nick.
Yeah.
As soon as you mentioned lollies, there was an appearance.
Yeah, he ran. Might have to ration those lollies, but anyway.
How are we doing it for every class?
Just 2
The 2
elites. So we're waiting for a woman elite to finish. We got one?
Well, we've got one. We've got our leader of the women's 20 elite course, Nick. It's Gemma Burley from the Southern Arrows. She's run a time of 21 minutes and 13. She started a little bit ahead of the rest of the pack. So our first 2 runners started quite a few minutes before everyone else, and now we are just starting to get into the start list proper, and we've now got 2 more starters in the men's 21 elite. We've got 1 starter in the men's 20 elite, 2 starters in the women's 21 elite, and a handful of runners in the women's 20 elite. So we'll start getting times up quick and fast very soon.
So actually Gemma should be in the hot seat because it's a combined class today. Women's 18, women's 20, women's 21. You're all running the same course, so we want the winner of that course up on the hot seat. Gemma Burley, if you're around, could you take your place and stay there until the end or until someone runs the faster time?
So Gemma Burley is currently leading both the 20s and the 21 elites courses as the sole finisher at this point in time.
For those who are not aware, this is a combined class because in sprint orienteering the junior elite can run the same, and all qualify for world ranking points, which are important when it comes down to WOC sprint, because the world ranking points become important in start lists, etc. And we've now got a men's 18 class and a women's 18 class, and they run the same course as the men's 20 in a sprint like today. Hamish Megan.
So on the screen now, you can see this is Ella Hogg by the looks of it in the women's 20 elite course. This is early on In the junior women's elite course, we've got Ella running through, nice and smooth through that control, looking quite composed, even though there's a camera essentially in her face. So impressive composure there from Ella as she runs through the early section. For those that were watching yesterday, you might remember we even got Nia Shingler acknowledging the camera, giving a bit of a wave, etc. as we were going along. No such much more focus there from Ella Hogg running through.
So the women's 18, we've got Rebecca Craig at the radio control before the, there's actually 2 radio controls before the run through. She's 2 minutes 44 down. The current leader there is Julia Barber by the look of it in 12:41. So we'll wait for Julia to come to the pre-warning for the spectator run through. We may have a new hot seat contender. Debbie Davey running there in the women's 65. That looks to me like the fastest time. It's coming up telling me it's second, but it's actually... Over to you, Ben.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Choosing not to comment, but you can see this is Jose Zabata. That's the second last person on the start list. Was just on the screen, and now we're with a Canberra cockatoo. Can't quite tell who it is. It might be a Walter. I'm not sure. Coming through, nice and quick through. I remember that control as well. Coming back out the same way. It is Max indeed. Young Max Walter running, looking pretty good through a grey undercover area. I remember that area well, and he's going back out to run a bit further than I did by the looks. There are obviously a few legs, particularly around that area where you do need to be careful. You need to look ahead and see whether or not it's closed to get into the control at the other end. So Max Walter taking a bit of time to take that in.
Julia Barber at the pre-warning for the spectator. She is currently in front of Gemma Burley. So we might have a new hot seat contender. The man who set the courses for the middle distance last Saturday, Steve Craig, at the pre-warning, 11 seconds down on Rui Afnan in the men's 55A class.
Mark Freeman's just finished in the men's 55A. He's slotted himself into second position. He's about 45 seconds behind the lead time at this point. Caroline Jackson finished a little while ago. She's slotted into second place in the women's 65A class. Caroline Jackson, very formidable orienteer, also known for her outstanding mountain bike orienteering efforts over the years as well.
Gillian Ingham, our New Zealand friend, has just finished in second place in the women's 65, 39 seconds down on... My phone's ringing, so I'll have to...
Rui Afnan, who ran that solid time and was the leader and is still the leader through the radio control in the men's 55A class, has finished now. He's set the time of 18:13. We did have another runner come through very close to his time through the spectator, so we'll see how that unfolds over the next minute or so. But for the moment, Rui Afnan from Yalanga, from Adelaide, has taken the lead into the men's 55A class. Young Daisy Crane in the men's and women's 10 novice class is finished. He's set a very fast time of 13:32. Looked like Matthew Crane had just been out for a second lap
Is,
to support his daughter.
Yep. Is this Julia Barber coming up here into the finish? This may be a new hot seat contender. Just wait for the time.
I think it is. Her time has come through. Julie Barber's taken the lead in the women's 20 elite, and of course, she's also leading the 21 elite because they're running the same course today. So Julia Barber will replace Gemma Burley on the hot seat. So Julia Barber, well done. You get to sit on the hot seat and eat a few lollies while you wait and watch to see how this time unfolds. So Steve Craig was the person that was running very close to Rui Afnan's time, but Stephen Craig is now in the finish, but he hasn't been able to close the gap, and so he's slotted into second place, 19 seconds behind Rui Afnan in the men's 55A class.
So we've got Julia Barber now in the hot seat for the women's elite course today. We've got a new leader in the men's 65A class at the pre-warning for the spectator control, Alistair Metherell. Just in front of his New Zealand compatriot Malcolm Ingham. I just saw Malcolm run down the run through, and Ben Cosolato finishing there in third place in the men's 55, 30 seconds down. Sienna White at the pre-warning in the women's 18 in second place, but a little bit down on Rebecca Craig. So we're just waiting for more of the elites to come through in the men's 20, women's 20, men's 21, women's 21. And it should get pretty competitive in the next 10-15 minutes or so.
We've got Josh Blatchford, who's come through the radio control, and he came through the radio control around about 30 seconds down on Jack Marshall. So it looks like Jack Marshall is going to have to settle in for a bit longer, get comfortable.
Yep, it looks like he's enjoying his time in the hot seat.
There's nothing like being in a hot seat. I mean, if you're not in the hot seat, you can't win, right? So
that's right.
Hot seat is definitely the place to be, and luckily it's not too hot today because it's in the shade.
Yep.
At least for now.
We're looking after them. We're looking after them. It's great to see Rob Preston go out today on the men's 70A course and mostly walk around. It's great to see him here in the orienteering arena.
So Nick, we had an interesting day yesterday. We had some broken bones. We had some snake bites. We had all sorts of things. Hopefully it's not as exciting from that point of view today.
No, I hope not. I haven't heard officially whether it was a snake bite or not. But maybe I can now tell you that we were setting up on Friday at the arena in the afternoon. It was a nice sunny hot day and we spotted at least two lovely red belly black snakes coming out of the dam. One went right up through the arena and over the top where the elite start was in the middle. So there's definitely, we've now left that Glen Burnie area to the native wildlife, of which black snakes and brown snakes predominate out there. So I'm not sure what the outcome of that injury was, whether it was a snake bite or not. It was, yes. And there was also a broken arm, I believe, yesterday. So Alistair Metherell in the men's 65 has just taken the lead in 20:57. Josh Blatchford in the men's 21E coming in a time 41 seconds down on Jack. So Jack will have to stay in the hot seat for a little longer.
So Sienna White just finished in the Southern Arrows uniform moments ago. She's slotted herself into third at this point in time. So the leader of that women's 18 class, Rebecca Craig, has run 19 minutes, and she's holding a comfortable lead of a couple of minutes over the next couple of runners, with Sienna White dropping into that third place position for now.
Ooh, I'm watching on the big screen some hesitation in a fairly open area along a road. Can get tricky out there in some places. Small hesitations will add up.
I can see Ben Schultz coming through the spectator run right now. And on the screen I saw Eric Morris come through as the fastest time in the men's 55A course. Should be rounding this spectator run through very shortly. Alex Headley's dropped into second place in the men's 45A, and I predominantly mention that because I'm leading that class, and I don't suspect Alex or myself's time is going to hold up into the podium places for much longer. So well done to me and Alex.
Just had an interesting conversation with Dave Meyer. He ran the men's 35 today. He said that in the far side of the map, the western side, there was a bit tricky over there, and it caught him out a bit. So that's where all the elites go shortly after they start, and I can tell you it's different in the far western part of the map. For those who ran the longer courses, you will know that. And when we first walked into that area, I thought, wow, this is going to be very interesting to set some courses in there, and there's some very interesting loops that Serena's come up with in that area.
Martina Craig's just come through. She's going to be running through the spectator run through. She's just taken the lead in the women's 50A class, and she'll be home into the finish within the next 2 minutes, of course, from that point. Yeah, Nick, so that's exactly what I was referring to out there, right? It's that western end, it's a bit confusing. I definitely lost some time through hesitating through that section. As we can see, Ben Schultz coming into the finish.
It's good to hear. We've just heard that the person who got bitten yesterday, not sure what this means, but it was a dry bite, and she's fine. She's here today, so all is well with that that problem we had yesterday. So that's really, really good news.
You want a dry bite, Nick? That just means the snake hasn't injected the venom in, or didn't get a chance, or didn't try to itself. It has that choice.
Well, that's great news. Eric Morris finishing there in the men's 55A in a time of 15:43. That's the fastest time by my looking at the screen, but he's got someone else on top. But Jamie was an early starter.
So, Nick, one of the potential runners and winners for today would be someone like Martin Dent, you might suggest. And he's been out in the forest for a minute. So he's an early starter, and so I reckon we can see someone finishing very quickly in about 14 minutes' time, Nick.
Yeah. There's a couple of dents in that field today. There's a couple of young boys. Cooper Hawley, he'll no doubt be... he ran at WOC in the Australian team at the Sprint WOC in Edinburgh this year. He's only a junior. We've also got, of course, the New Zealand juniors who absolutely fly across the ground.
I was thinking, Nick, how could you bet against a Kiwi today? They're going to be super fast, and it looks like you've even supporting that team today. So let's not go there.
No, we won't go there. But they'd have to be favourites for sure. Felix is running really, really well. Zephyr maybe had another good night's sleep, get over his jet lag a little bit more, and we might have some real competition between those two. And then we got Ewan Shingler as well in the field, and a couple of other boys who will try, no doubt. Patrick Jaffe, a little bit off the pace yesterday, but I'm not sure what Patrick's fitness level is at the moment. But he's made the trip up here from Melbourne for this weekend, so he must be fairly serious about the whole issue. We got a new second place getter in the men's 21E.
Casimir Gregory.
Yeah, Jack, you're holding on to the hot seat by 5 seconds, mate. 5 seconds over Casimir Gregory.
We did have a very fast time just come through in the women's 21 elite course, though. It's Laurel Gannon from Queensland who's come through, will have run through the spectator, run through by now, I suspect. She's a couple of minutes quicker than our next fastest by the looks, so Laurel Gannon will be looking for coming up the finish chute very shortly. And it's likely, I think, that she will go into the hot seat. Although maybe not. Maybe Julia Barber will just hang on. They're, of course, running different classes. So through our radio control, we've got Ella Hogg coming through on the screen now. She'll come through the spectator. She's chasing that Kiwi runner down just ahead of her.
Mr. Candy. Mr. Lawford.
Gareth Candy in the finish chute, followed by Jeff Lawford. We'll be interested to see the time that Jeff's done today. Gareth is running himself into first place in the men's 45. Time is 16:53 there. 15:48. And Jeff Lawford also running himself into first place in a time of 16:53.
So Jack Marshall's left the seat because he had to drive to Sydney.
We've got Martin Dent on the big screen. Out the back. Yep.
So he's going to come, he's high on the campus at the moment. He's on the northern end of the campus and he's making his way down. He's on the kind of northwest end of the map. Quickly through there. You can see him looking ahead, trying to pick his route. Glimpsing down, he's in a section of the map now that can get a little bit confusing though, is what I would suggest. So he's taken the stair route. This is a very interesting area of the map and we're going to lose contact, but I think that's... Some more of our elite runners on screen, running nice and quick. We had Ella Hogg on screen a few times during her course today. She was showing strong composure there. She's now into the finish chute. We've got
I believe
Julia Barber is still holding our lead in 18:46, so we expect that time to come down significantly.
Yep, we've our current hot seat man has had to leave the hot seat. He's got to drive back to Sydney, so we'll just wait for the next elite man to come through into the lead, and we'll put them in the hot seat.
And I mean, Martin Dent is likely to be a strong candidate for that. We saw him out there running very quickly on the big screen just before. He's been out for 7 minutes. He's probably halfway around his course at this point in time. So if Martin Dent is on a fast time, we should see some of his split times coming up shortly.
That one before that one. This one.
Jenny Adams from New Zealand has just come through the spectator run through time, second fastest time. Kathy McComb from Tasmania is leading at the moment in the women's 50 class, but it's a close call there. We'll have to watch over the last couple of minutes of that course.
So in terms of the elite, we've got a radio control on the way back from the western side of the map before they come to the pre-warning for the spectator control. And Andrew Hill went through that radio in 11:48, so we should expect to see Martin at that radio control in the next minute or two. We previously saw him on the big screen, and it was about 7 minutes running time then.
We had Shannon Jones too on the screen just before. If you were watching the screen and saw the ACT Canberra Cockatoo suit, Shannon Jones, very fit at the moment, doing a lot of running. And has represented Australia at WOC in lots of sprint races previously, so she looked pretty quick through that section. Max Walter coming through in a Canberra Cockatoo suit now.
And of course it's Shannon's birthday today, so her mum wants me to mention that a number of times, but we've got a new leader in the men's 20E in the finish, William Barnes. We need someone to ask William to come and sit in the hot seat. William, you're the current leader in the men's elite class in a time of 21:21.
Well, actually, I think it's Casimir Gregory,
sorry.
But he's the most recent finisher, so so why not? We can put him up. Well, he might appreciate a lolly or two whilst he's up there.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Kaz actually now works on this campus. He's got a permanent job here in the chemistry faculty. So he's
got a bit of an advantage today then, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did send me an email about embargo issues in terms of getting to work and back. But I assured him that wouldn't be a problem as long as he didn't take the map with him. And he was very pleased to have he's just recently got the appointment as a lecturer, I believe, in the chemistry faculty, and sounds like he's doing a PhD in some topic that I've got no idea about. So we're waiting for Martin. He should come up at this.
We've got our first tracking on screen now. We are able to show some tracking, and as suspected, Martin Dent is coming through. He's heading up to number 16. 16's that tricky one. This will be interesting to see. It's not the route I would have taken for this particular leg, Martin. He's definitely too far away to hear us at this point. He's worked out a way up, but I think he's probably also realised he hasn't gone with the quickest route at this stage.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was going to get uglier just then,
I
Nick.
think so. I think we just lost the tracking just as it was... I know he's got around the wall.
Yeah, well,
tracking slightly out.
Is the tracking out, or is he on another level?
No, he can't run through that area. It's an impassable fence. I think he's just gone round the bottom of that impassable
Gone
fence.
down, yeah.
Yep. So it shouldn't be too long now. If that tracking was live, he should be coming towards the second radio control. But maybe he lost a little bit of time, I think, there.
Yeah, I think he's probably lost a little bit of time there. And we saw him running into his control 16, and his run through will be from control 23. So he's got another 7 good controls to get to before he comes through that run through. And I'm looking at the map right now, and there's a few little fiddly little legs. Nah, it's pretty straightforward.
Am I looking at the right information here in the women's 21E class? We've got
Melissa Thomas will have just finished. I saw her running through the run through not very long ago.
so we should have Laurel Gannon in the hot seat, maybe. Is that right? Am I reading that right? In a time of 19:15 and the fastest in the women's 21E class. Is that faster than...
No, we've got
No?
Julia Barber's done 18:46.
Okay. Yep.
So she's still holding on to that lead. She will have got to have down quite a few.
Anna Babington? Is that right or wrong? Look at Anna.
So we're right. So we missed quite a few splits there, but we've got Anna Babington has finished, and she's run a time of 16:59. So she's in the women's 20 elite class, the Kiwi. She's leading the event at this stage.
So we
And
need a new person in the hot seat for the
Yep.
women's elite class, please.
So Anna Babington, if you're around, you are the current leader on the women's 20 and 21 elite course today with your time, so you're required on the hot seat. There are lollies down there. I believe they're giving foot rubs and back massages and all sorts of things. So it's worthwhile coming down for.
So we're on the first one, and then she's playing catch up from there up.
First control.
Yeah, big boo-boo. Multiple mistakes with one control.
Where's your building?
My building's there.
Oh,
That's where my office is.
Yeah.
And I started going this way.
So Ewan Keith has come through the men's 20 elite spectator leg. Spectator control. He'll be running around through the spectator leg very shortly, the Queensland Cyclone. He's in the lead of the men's 20 elite course at this stage. So he's holding a lead of around about 20 seconds. Here he is. Fast orange shoes. Coming past the thing. He's currently leading in the men's 20 elite course through that spectator control and spectator run through. So he's got about 2 minutes, and looks like he'll take the lead in the men's 20 elite course at this point. Martin Dent is coming through, so this will be a hot pace. Martin Dent has definitely come through as the fastest time. He's about 40 seconds ahead of Jack Marshall's time at the same point.
So we should see Martin at the run through in about 30 seconds, but he's on a running time of 15:18. I think that's maybe a little bit off the pace that we can expect from some of the fast New Zealand runners. But there's Martin now going off to do the last loop, about maybe a minute or two, and he'll be back into the finish.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there, Nick. I think that he's going to be sitting in the hot seat, but I'm not sure he's going to last in the hot seat for too long. It's not the time we are expecting through there.
Yeah, he might get a lolly or two, but he won't be there for too long, maybe. Rebecca George at the pre-warning in the women's 21E. A little bit down off the pace, but only 57 seconds behind. She should be in the
And you can see on the tracking at the moment that we've got one of our elite competitors that's in the white. And that's not forested area, that is just white. It's not mapped. So I think Shannon Jones might have cost herself a strong finish there, but she's going to meet up here with Grace, and I think they will form a formidable and fast team out there. So it looks like Shannon Jones's chance for glory today just went out the window.
She's crossed that road and kept going. By the look of it, maybe she wanted to go down to the swimming pool. It's just down the bottom of the hill.
I didn't see a swim, and I like to say I didn't go off the map, but I was tempted to as well, Nick. I was confused by the building.
And here
at
he
that
is.
point.
Here he is, Martin Dent, into the finish. This will be a time of around, I think, about 17 minutes. Maybe just a little bit off the pace, but he's going to get to sit in the hot seat. That's for sure.
So Martin Dent coming through, he's going to be just under 18 minutes. He's going to be around 17 minutes 50 is my guess, Nick. 17:47, his time's up. And he is the current leader on our course. The time though, of course, 17:47. Not quite as fast as what we are expecting on the course. But here's our current leader. So Martin Dent, when you get the chance and have a bit of a recovery, Martin Dent, you're on the hot seat. We've got lollies for you. I believe some of the junior athletes are offering foot massages for those people on the hot seat. I haven't seen those foot massages in place yet, but I'm assured that that's part of the deal. Here comes Aaron Prince into the finish in the men's 45A class I'm running, and from what I saw, he was a little bit down on Gareth Candy's time through that radio, so it'll be interesting to see how he's gone over the closing stages here. And yes, Aaron Prince has dropped into second place, so Gareth Candy's holding the lead in 15:48, and that might be the first win for Gareth Candy for the carnival this week. He, of course, rested last weekend specifically for this race. Bronnie Seaman, another very strong runner in the field. Looks like she's worked hard. Just punching the finish now. And she's dropped into second place in the women's 21 elite course. So Laurel Gannon still leading the 21E course. Of course, we have a couple of the junior elites. And Anna Babington from New Zealand is still holding the lead overall in a time of 16:59. So both our men's and women's, both junior and senior elites, are still running in the 17-minute type of category, so a little bit behind what we expect the winning time later today. I've just seen Julian Dent's name come up on my screen, and it's on one of our radio split controls. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but he's come through that control around about 30 seconds ahead of Martin Dent. So it looks like we've got someone on track to run a few minutes quicker, about a minute quicker than Martin Dent's time. So that would still only put him in the high 16 minutes, and I would have thought Julian would have been close to that 15-minute mark, but he's still looking like he's about at least going to be a minute and a half, 2 minutes behind that supposed winning time.
Sprinting's not his forte now. At his age, he'd be the first to admit that. He also had a pretty bad knock on his hip yesterday, so I wouldn't think he's going to expect to run as fast as those New Zealanders. But we've got Renee Beveridge I think Renee has to take the hot seat. You've just finished in a time of 17:12. No, she's not taken the hot seat yet.
So we've got Grace Crane on the screen too. So Grace, on our split times, was coming through in about third fastest time. So Grace is out there on the course. She should be close to Shannon Jones. Remember Shannon, and after her little mishap, but there she goes, going the other way. Grace Crane and Shannon,
So
in close proximity to each other.
at the pre-warning for the run through, we've got Grant Reenbot and Julian Dent. They look like they might be fairly close together. I can see one of them coming down in the run through.
Yeah, so we've got Renee Beveridge has come in. She's leading in the women's 21 elite course, but she's still behind the junior elite leader at this stage, which is Anna Babington, and they are running the same course. So Anna Babington not only looking good for women's 20 elite course, but also looking good for the overall women's elite course.
And we've got Shannon Jones in the run through, but Grace Crane's gone to the pre-warning, and she's a little bit off the pace of Shannon. So Shannon is running really strongly, and she's only got about a maybe 2.5 minute loop to go. And then Grace should be into the pre-warning, the spectator run through very shortly as well.
So I think, Nick, Grace has actually caught Shannon by a minute. So Grace is ahead on that time, but they are still off the time of Renee Beveridge, who's looking very solid through that women's 21 elite class at this stage.
Ainsland Prendergast finishing there in the women's 21E in a time of 18:42. So that puts her in second place behind Renee in that class.
So Kaya Jorgensen has just started. She's just into the map. She's the second last starter, and our last starter is our... yesterday I was referring to her as the finish arrow, Hannah Hilo, and she will start within the next minute. And so the last two starters in our women's 21 elite course, I think Nick, will be the ones to watch.
Absolutely, I think so.
Here we go, Grace Crane and Julian Dent both in the finish chute together. Grace is going to run into the podium position at this point in time. I think around about second place. Yep, second place, 25 seconds down. Julian Dent has run into third.
Third in the men's 21E behind the two Reenbot boys from Queensland. So we've still got the junior in the hot seat. So we need to check, I think, about the start list for the men's elite. We're up to 10:50. 10:50. It must be getting towards the end of the field. 10:50. Paul De Jong. Hannah Hilo starts right this minute.
So Hannah Hilo, it's the women's 21 elite course that will finish first. The last starter is finishing right about now. And that's Hannah Hilo, and we've got another 15 odd minutes, I think, of men's 21 elite starters.
Yeah, Ewan Shingler starts at 11:15. He's the last starter in the men's elite class.
Speaking of a Shingler, Nia Shingler has just started in the forest as well. So Nia Shingler, outside chance to not only take out the women's 20 elite course, but perhaps even the women's 21 elite course. At least as a local resident champion, my money's clearly on the internationals today in the women's class.
You like the arrow, don't you?
I like the finish arrow.
Can she do the double? Can she do the double? Flown into Australia last Thursday and won the long distance yesterday. It's a different kettle of fish today, of course, in the sprint. A different technique, different style. And but if you've got the quality, then you can do both the sprint and the long.
We've got an early sprint time of Erica Enderby too, and this is very, very early in the course. It's literally 2 minutes into the course. She's run 2 minutes and 1 second, and the leader is Anna Bibbington, who's our hot seat sitter. But Erica Enderby's come through that radio control 1 second down, so obviously anything can happen at that point in time. But clearly Erica hasn't lost it in the first couple of minutes and has given herself a chance for a very strong run today.
And the hot seats are empty. I know there's someone coming. All right.
Here we go. You can see Hannah Hillo on the screen in the green. She is the last starter in the Women's 21 Elite course. And by looking at this tracking, Nick, I'm not sure the finish arrow is going to win today.
Oh, you're more up with it than I am at the moment.
There was a bit of looping around there. We'll see. So the tails that we've got up there at the moment are 20 seconds. So very short tails, only 20 seconds worth of tails. So don't expect there to be overlap with the people that are starting 1 minute behind.
It's where I thought the issues would occur in the far western section of the map. There's a lot of change of direction. There's some tricky passages over there and some really interesting route choices left and right with a lot of turning on each of those options. I think as the controller, I think the course setter's done a fantastic job over there. And also in the middle section of the map where I've seen a few hesitations where there's a little paths.
So in the men's 20 elite course, we've got a new fastest time through the spectator control. They'll be running through the spectator run through very, very shortly. It's Nick Stanley from New South Wales. He is running a hot time. It looks like he's a couple of minutes up on the next fastest time at that stage.
And that's Nick now in the blue singlet, running around the corner of the spectator control run through. And he's on a leading time in the men's 20E class.
So, do you have a combined screen over there for the...
Leanna Stubbs has just finished. Nick, she's second quickest in the women's 20 elite class at this stage. Anna Babington still holding the lead and holding the overall course lead. That's both the 21 and the 20 elite course, of course, doing the same course today.
So, Ben, are you calling that Hannah has had trouble in the first 4 minutes of her course, are you?
Well, it looked. I mean, from that GPS track that we just saw, it looked a bit. Roller coastery, and
Okay.
I mean, the nature of sprint orienteering is that does happen, but it didn't look as clean as I expected. Natasha Key, one of our older and very well
Respected? Admired
and lots of achievements in the past.
Australian head coach.
I was thinking of the Palmares, as they refer to in cycling. And our current Australian head coach is running through past the screen at the moment. So Natasha Key, she was third fastest in the women's 21 elite course through that radio control. We're about 20 seconds down on Renee Beveridges, who's still holding the lead in the women's 21 elite course, but not in the hot seat, as Anna Babington is still there.
And we've got two New Zealanders at the pre-warning for the run through. Finn Van Gulen in the men's 18, Oliver Egan in the men's 21E. They look like they might be running together. They're exactly 1 minute apart. And if they started 1 minute apart, then they are running together. Running the same course. Scott Smith's not too far behind. So we've got 3 New Zealanders about to come down through the spectator run through.
So Scott Smith is running. What Ewan Best has just come through with a new fastest time in the men's 20 elite course, and by the looks of it, possibly the course overall. So Ewan Best is on a very fast time indeed. He's well and truly in the 13 minutes here.
He's 1 minute 30 up on Nick Stanley. So Ewan should come down the hill very shortly. Very, very fast time by Ewan. And that's him now, running around the corner in the Tasmanian shirt. And he's on the fastest time so far in all of that men's elite class.
So remember, we're expecting people to do this last finish shoot in around about 2 minutes. So he's looking like he might be the first runner into the 15-minute mark, Nick.
Yep. Will he? I don't think he'll get under the 15, but he's going to get close to it. And then we'll sit back and wait for the tail of the field to see if we can get under that 15-minute mark.
So Justine Hobson's just coming through the same spectator leg as well. Canberra Cockatoo, look for the Canberra Cockatoo runner coming through the spectator run through. She's second quickest. She's about 16 seconds behind Anna Babington. So Anna Babington's time really holding up for a long time here.
So this is the couple of the New Zealanders, I believe, finishing here in the men's elite. And we'll keep an eye out for Ewan Best.
Ewan was 11 seconds quicker than Grant at that point.
Quicker than...
11 seconds quicker than Grant, who's currently the hot seat. So this is only 11 seconds.
So it's very, very close to find a new hot seat winner here. Hot seat position for Ewan Best. And I can see Ewan now. Here he comes. He's at the last control. Up to the finish. And this could be the new hot seat contender. And Ewan Best, I don't think he's made any hesitations in that last loop.
No, he's seen pretty quick through there, Nick.
Yep.
He's taken the lead, and he's got a 15 at the start of his time, 15:59. So our first person into the 15-minute mark. Ewan Best leading overall. You'll be required on the hot seat. Erica Endenby should also be coming through. Here she is too. She's running through past the screen at the moment. She is second fastest through that section there. She was 14 seconds down on Anna Babington. So it's going to be very close there. Our junior athletes looking very good today in these sprint classes, even compared to the senior elites. Looks like Anna Babington just shaking her head, eating the last lollies that she can. So Kai Jorgensen on screen now, and Nia Shingler and Miller just crossing each other. So here's Nia. Remember, Nia was our last starter in the women's 20 elite course. So she's second last.
Hannah Hilo started last. So Nia
Shingler's in the women's 20 elite course.
Oh, sorry.
But you are right.
You are right.
Hannah Hilo did start behind her, and of course they are running the same course, and we've got the junior elites and the senior elites intertwined between each other. Justine Hobson just finished just shortly before. She rolled into second place in the women's 20 elite course. Very fast time compared to the 21 elites at this point as well.
And we've got Ewan taking his position in the hot seat. I just get confused because in my mind the men's 20 and the women's and the men's 21 are running the same course, so I mix them together.
And here's Erica Endenby coming into the finish. It looked like she was probably going to drop into second place, and she has too. So she's 11 seconds down on Anna Babington, but a very solid run from Erica into second place. She's knocked Justine Hobson down into third place, but we're looking at a 20-second gap between those first three runners at this point. So that's in the women's 20 elite course, but of course we've still got another about 8 finishes to come, including names like Miller Key and Nia Shingler.
And Nia's on a running time at the moment of 11 minutes, and Hannah Hillo is on a running time of, it's 12 minutes, and Hannah Hillo is 11.
Was that Michaela Cooper or Zoe Carter just coming through? Zoe Carter just coming through. And Nia Shingler is still on screen now. She's not waving to the camera today like she did yesterday. Requires a bit more focus to sprint. Here's Michaela Cooper coming through past the screen. She's just run through the fastest time compared to Renee Beveridge in the women's 21 elite course.
Not for long.
But not for long, because Kai Jorgensen is on an even faster time. Only 1 second gap here, though, we're talking. It's a 1 second gap between Michaela Cooper's time and Kaya Jorgensen's time.
So Kaya will be coming down the run through shortly. Michaela just went through about a minute ago. So it's going to be down to the last loop here between these two girls.
See Kaya at the control now.
Kaya's just punched the garden bed up there, and she's coming around the corner, down the run through.
Here she is, I can see her, she's come around. She's about to come around the next corner before she goes past the screen. She's got the fastest time through that radio control, but we know it's close.
Not for long.
Not for long, because we've gone even faster. And not only have we gone faster, we've gone minutes faster, Nick.
Nia Shingler, 12:51 at the pre-warning. And here she is. This is a massive lead to Nia Shingler.
Nia Shingler is come through here, and she's a minute and 15 seconds ahead of the next fastest time we've got through, and Miller Key following her as well. Miller Key's on a good run. It's just that Nia Shingler's run is absolutely gobsmacking.
So we're just now going to wait for Hannah Hillo to come to the pre-warning, because she was the last starter in that course. Not in that same class, but Nia Shingler's on a potential first place here overall.
That's a screamer of a run, Nick.
Yeah.
Maybe she missed part of the course.
Oh, maybe she's just
It's
running.
a very fast time.
Running very smoothly and very steadily.
But here we go. We're even faster again. And I tell you what, I can't believe I doubted my initial instincts about the finish arrow, because she's destroyed Nia's time, and I can't believe I've said that.
13:16.
Wowzers, this is fast.
I'll say it for you, Ben. 13:16, Hannah Hillo. She will come down the run through any second now, and Nia Shingler will come up to the finish.
Here's Kaya Jorgensen in the finish. This will be critical for the places on the podium.
Nia at the last.
Michaela
And
Kia Jorgensen's taken the lead, but here's Nia Shingler. I hope she did the whole course, because this is a very fast time indeed.
And Miller Key coming behind her, but Hannah Hillo, I don't know whether we missed her in a run through.
Miller Key here. Miller Key's a chance of a podium finish overall, including the 21s class. So Nia Shingler's at home in the leading seat, 15:09. Miller drops into second place at the moment in 16:29. Kia Jorgensen in third place in 16:56. But we've still got the finish arrow, Nick.
We have got the arrow, and she had a radio time of 13:16. So she's on the last loop now. So we'll keep our eyes open for the finish arrow.
And in that excitement, Alvin Craig finished his run 16:44. He's had a solid run, but he's still a fair way off Ewan Best's smoking time at this point.
So we've got a running time. I'll just do my mathematics here. She started at 10:50. She's on 15:18. My timing.
Well, if you think it's 15:18, then Nia Shingler's the winner.
Nia went through in 12:51. The arrow went through in 13:16.
Yep.
Nia's the winner.
I think we're going to have to declare that the finish arrow is too late, and that Nia Shingler will be the overall winner of the women's 2021 elite class today.
So Hannah Hillo's finished. She's run 15:39, Nick, and that is going to win the women's 21 elite course. But of course, Nia Shingler's running the same course and was 30 seconds quicker. So Hannah Hillo is first in women's 21 elite course. Kaya Jorgensen is second, and Michaela Cooper is third in the women's 21 elite course. And we've essentially wrapped that class up.
Yep.
But of course, overall, on the same course, Nia Shingler has run even faster. And so she's not only won the women's 20 elite course, but she's run the fastest time overall. So it's Nia in the women's 21 elite course. It's Nia Shingler first, Miller Key second. And by the looks of it, Miller Key is the third fastest overall on the course, but second in women's 20 elite course. And Anna Babington, with that really early fast time, looks like she's going to hold on to third place in the women's 21 elite class.
20 elite.
Wow.
20 elite class.
You were just reading it. 20.
And Ethan Pink in the men's 21E at the pre-warning for the spectator control. He has taken the lead over Grant Reenbot at that point. His time at 12:43. So he will take about another 30 seconds to get to the run through, and then he's got a couple of minutes to go. So he could possibly get under the 15 minutes for the men's 21E today.
Yeah, that is a fast time that Ethan's going through that split time, and it's distinctly faster than the other times we've seen. So Ethan looks like he might get into those really fast periods. And Nia Shingler in the women's course, she's run 15:09. So again, good job from the course setters.
Yeah, there's a bit of climb out there as well. So yeah, well done, Serena.
Oscar Brown just finishing just then. He's dropped into third place in the men's 20 elite course at this point in time. His time is 17 minutes. Of course, in the men's junior and senior elite categories, we still have 10 or more runners within each field still to come. So there's a long way to go in that in the men's class, Nick.
Yeah, we're up to 11:08. Ryan Gray starting. He's just started. And then we've got Sam Wolford, Lee Soden, Zephyr starting at 11:11. Cooper Hawley 1 minute behind Zephyr. So there's a challenge. Oh, what a threesome. Zephyr Favre followed by Cooper Hawley followed by Felix Hunt in the start list. Then Patrick Jaffe, the second last starter, and Ewan Shingler, the last starter at 11:15. So we got some pretty serious competition running out there 1 minute apart shortly from the start.
And it's nice to see the GPS up now. We've got a really good sense, and I can see David Stocks, who was the resident Australian champion in the long distance yesterday. Remember, these tails are only 20 seconds long, so it looks like he's not too far away from catching Toby Wilson in front of him. I think that's Owen Radadowski that's out there as well on his way to the third control. He's been showing some really good form lately, and I think he could do really well today in this Men 20 Elite course.
And we have a new leader in the men's 21E in the finish, Ethan Penk, 15:10. 10 seconds over the magical 15-minute mark. So Ethan Peck is our new hot seat sitter. So Ethan, when you get a chance, you're on the hot seat. Make sure you get some of those lollies into you, and look for those foot rubs that I keep hearing are going. So, Nia, if you would like, you can leave the hot seat now because you're the overall winner, so there's no one else who can come and take your place. So thank you very much.
And this is,
and well done.
On the screen, we've got the last preparations of Zephyr. He's got to be a hot candidate for today, doesn't he, Zephyr? Here he goes. Let's see how he starts.
It's a bit tricky at the beginning of the men's elite course.
Look at that, straight to the map, orientating the map straight to it. He's already folded, he already knows where he's going. He must have taken some information in very quickly indeed.
Yeah, they've got a couple of controls in that tricky little building with the 2 levels.
Well, he made some decisions pretty quickly and pretty smoothly there.
Yeah.
He never took off too fast. He just looked at the map and really got settled into making that route choice decision. So, good start.
And on the start blocks now, we've got Cooper Hawley. And there's a great vision of Zephyr. He's going down to the little garden at the lower level. And then down the stairs, and you'll have to turn around and come back up.
And then he'll go through that little grey patch back around. He's got to turn right through here, nice and smoothly, out into the open, and then turn right, and then he'll turn right again in a second. There you go. Nice and smooth through there.
Great camera work. So, Cooper Hawley is now out in the terrain. He's chasing Zephyr. And then next on the start list for the men's elite will be Felix Hunt, the winner of the middle distance and the winner of the long distance. So Ben asked me yesterday, could he do the trifecta? And I was a bit bamboozled about the fact that there was another event today, and then I remembered that there was a sprint on. And of course he can do the trifecta.
So Nick, we've got Ethan on the podium, on the hot seat, and he's run a time of 15:10. How do you think 15:10 is going to hold up today? That's a pretty solid time.
I'll go out on a limb and make it 14 and a half. I reckon. Jamie Wolford is coming down. He's on a little 1 minute 41 down. Just behind him will be Rui Afnan in a time of 1:24 down. I think they'll get well under 15 minutes, these 3 runners that we've now got out in the terrain, out in the campus.
So the women got to 15:09, Nia Shingler got to 15:09, pretty fast time, slightly obviously a second quicker than Ethan's time at the moment. You reckon the men are going to go into the 14s and down to 14.5? Who's going to do 14.5, Nick?
Oh, I think it could be a Zephyr Fave day today.
So we saw Zephyr starting. He looked really smooth, didn't take off too quick. He just made nice controlled decisions through that start point. On the screen, we've got Patrick Jaffe just starting there. He is our second last starter. Ewan Shingler is the last starter to come, and then all our elites will be out on the course or already tucked up getting their foot massages. I'm going to have to find out more about these foot massages, Nick. I've got a sore left foot.
I don't know what you're talking about. What foot massage?
Well, that's what I heard. If you get onto the hot seat, you get a foot massage.
Okay, all right. You know more than I do. And Mason Arthur, I think it is, finishing here in the men's 20E. No, men's 21E, sorry. We have a new second fastest time about to come through the run-through. Toby Lang from the Canberra Cockatoos in a time of 13:44. 1:01 down on the time of Ethan Penk, but a very respectable run there by Toby.
Yeah, so Toby's on a good run. Ethan's made it look not so good, but I think we're going to get very fast very soon, Nick. We're a few minutes away from starting to see some of these really fast individuals come through the spectator leg. There goes Toby, looking pretty solid through there.
Who's that? Is that Ewan Chingler on the screen? I think it's Ewan going down.
Yeah, that's Ewan. Look at that. He's even dodged the stairs to save a millisecond.
That was a totally different route choice to Zephyr Fave to that control. Ewan came round to the right and Zephyr came from the left. So interesting course setting there, because there's definitely a left and right to that first control. So Ewan is the last starter. He's on the screen, and now we've got a bit of tracking that Ben can see.
So Felix Hunt looks like he's lost a bit of time to Patrick Jaffe, who started behind him.
Zephyr on screen.
This is between control 9 and 10. And so this is around that western end of the map. So Zephyr is about to go to this Bermuda Triangle that is around the western end, Nick, that you keep referring to.
Yeah.
So
It could be the make or break, I think. Firstly, the hesitations, and secondly, the route choice could be the make or break in this area. Toby Lang is coming up the finish now. This is a very, very respectable run by Toby. But we've also got a new second fastest time in the men's 21 at the pre-warning for the spectator, and it's David Stocks, third place getter from yesterday.
here he is coming around now.
There he is.
He's about a minute behind our current leader through that spectator, but still second fastest. So this is really highlighting exactly how good Ethan's time is.
Yeah, that's standing up very, very strongly.
But
Ethan
Nick,
Peck's time.
you're still convinced they're going to go another 40 odd seconds quicker.
You keep asking me that question. I just saw Zephyr on screen. He is so smooth.
I got to agree. He looked good, didn't he? He looked good out there. He was at the presentation. I gave a presentation, a bit of a talk on some orienteering yesterday, and Zephyr was there asking questions about, well, actually, it was about YouTube, so let's not go into that detail.
So it shouldn't be too long now. I'll just go back to my...
They're all looking pretty smooth on the GPS tracking. Zephyr has gone very smoothly through into 13, and remember, it's just...
So Zephyr's on a running time of 7, coming up to 8 minutes.
What's going on here, though, Nick, is there's a little back and forth. I think he's just gone around those stairs and cut through that side of the building. So he's going to drop around to 13.
David Stocks at the last control. David was in second place at the pre-warning behind Ethan Penk. And this could put him into second place currently in the men's 21E class. So another strong run by David today after his performance yesterday in the long distance.
He's run a time of 16:11, Nick, a minute and 1 second behind Ethan's time, our current hot seat sitter. Patrick Jaffe's on the screen. Patrick Jaffe was around about the second or third last starter.
Second last.
He's been out for about 5.5 minutes, so he's just starting to get into that western end of the map, our Bermuda end of the map.
It's the actually it's the rural science faculty over there. I went to university here, and it's always been.
And the buildings are still the same, Nick.
Well, most of them are, except for this part of the university up here got hit by what they call a tornado. 200 metre wide tornado in about 4 or 5 years ago, and you'll notice the building behind where the warm-up for the start was has just been demolished because it lost its roof. The bistro lost its roof.
Hey, have a look at this, Nick. Zephyr's gone around the other side from 15 to 16, the other side of the building. That's the choice, incidentally, I took. So I like to think that Zephyr's making a good choice here.
Well, if it's
But it's different from a lot of the runners we've seen on the GPS.
Yeah, it's good enough for you. It's good enough for him. Here is Ewan Shingler, and Ewan's heading down into the Bermuda Triangle. Those buildings down there get very tricky. The ins and the outs.
Was that a crossable fence there, Nick?
That was okay, that wall.
Okay, just
Yep.
checking.
It was okay. And he's running. Oh, what great camera work in the Bermuda Triangle over the far side of the map.
That is not how I went down those stairs, I can tell you.
He should turn right here. Yes. Go between the buildings.
He's heading out to his number 11.
And this is a Wolford coming.
That garbage bin's got a few shows on screen. There's obviously some rubbish bin sponsor for the day that I wasn't made aware of.
We can actually see it through there.
I don't see, we haven't got any money from the Subaru yet, but Owen Radajewski at the pre-warning for the run-through in 4th place, 50 seconds down in the men's 20E class. I think that's Oscar Miller running down there. So we've got a mixture of men's 20E and men's 21E. But it shouldn't be too long before we get some times for Zephyr Fave at the radio control before the pre-warning.
Yeah, Nick, it's exciting now. We're probably in the last 10 minutes of our men's elite course.
He's on 11.5 minutes at the moment.
Sam Wolford has just set the new fastest time in the men's 20 elite at the spectator control. He will appear in the run through any moment now. So Sam Wolford has come through there in 13 minutes and 20. So that's 16 seconds faster than Ewan Best. Not as fast as Ethan, of course. Ethan in the men's 21 elite course is our overall hot seat sitter.
So Sam Wolford started 2 minutes in front of Zephyr Fave.
Sam Wolford running through now past the screen.
So Sam's doing the run through. Zephyr should be at that pre-warning very, very shortly. Otherwise, I'm going to have a bit of egg on my face, I think. He's coming to the bin. Okay. Yeah, that's the bin is the
here we go.
Zephyr's pre-warning.
Zephyr's coming through the whip bin, and in fact, as I look down, I can see him with my own eyes. He's just punched.
Back past the bin.
He's past the bin.
Puncher control running back past the bin again.
And Leif Soden has gone through the pre-warning in 2nd place in the men's 21E in a time of 13:31.
I'll tell you what, Ethan's time looks pretty good.
And Zephyr's gone past the Kangaroo, and he's going to the left. There's a pre-warning.
Owen just finishing.
There's a left and a right from the Kangaroo to the pre-warning for the elites. The left is through the passageway near the bistro, and the right is around the big building, the rectangular building.
Owen Radowski has put himself into 3rd position in the men's 20 elite, and Ryan Gray's popped himself into 2nd in the men's 21 elite. 16:10, good time there.
Ewan Shingler going up to the top of the
yes, so there is a left-right discrepancy here. I reckon this is going to be one of the legs to analyse afterwards, because this is really splitting the field.
That leg, yep, to the top. But I'm getting a bit concerned here, but there's no Zephyr at the pre-warning. And there he is. Whoa, 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 whoa. He's 58 seconds down at the pre-warning. Zephyr Fave, a time of 13:41. That's 58 seconds down on Ethan Penk.
Sam Wolford is just run through and taken the lead in the men's 20 elite course. He's just pipped Ewan Best by 2 seconds. So Sam Wolford, 15:57, is leading the men's 20 elite course.
So, whoa, we've got a new fastest time at the radio control for the pre-warning. Cooper Hawley, he is running not that far behind Zephyr. He's only about 25 seconds down on Zephyr.
And Zephyr's just gone through the spectator control. He just went through. You'll be able to watch him hit this next control.
So Cooper Hawley should come round the corner of the run through very, very shortly.
Cooper's inside.
And we've got him. There he is, Cooper Hawley. This is the new fastest time at the pre-warning for the run through. And that puts him up on Sam Wolford and Ewan Best. And he's on a time, I reckon, of almost to get under 15 minutes, Ben.
No. Cooper Hawley was 30 seconds slower than Ethan through that spectator control.
Ethan's had a good one.
Leith Soden's had a very good run. He's popped himself into second in the men's 21 elite course. He's just finished. He's 16.06. So Ethan is 15.10. He's still leading by about a minute, Nick. Where's the 14.5 runners coming?
Felix Hunt, where are you? Hey, there he is.
Well, Felix Hunt has just come through. He's on our split time. He will feature through the run through any moment now, but I can tell you his time is still down on Ethan by about 45 seconds.
Ethan Penk, we need you in the hot seat because it might get very, very hot for you. Where are you? You're looking
looks
good.
like Zephyr coming into the last control here.
So maybe the jet lag's caught up a little bit, but a little bit off the pace today. And someone keeps telling me it's his birthday, so we've got a few birthdays here today.
So Zephyr's put himself into third position, 16.10, 1 minute behind Ethan. Happy birthday, though, Zephyr.
Okay, so much for the 15 minutes. Patrick Jaffe second at the radio. The pre-warning, he's 36 seconds down on Ethan Penk. So Ethan Penk, it's looking really, really strong. Cooper Hawley coming up the finish.
Cooper was on a very good time, remember. It is leading the men's 20 elite course. Cooper's going to run a time 15.46. So Cooper is taking the lead ahead of Sam Wolford. He's 11 seconds ahead of Sam Wolford, and then another 2 seconds back to Ewan Best.
So we're waiting now for Ewan Shingler. There's Patrick running through the run-through. 36 seconds down on Ethan Penk. And we're waiting for the radio control for the pre-warning for Ewan Shingler. Otherwise, if it doesn't happen very soon, Ethan Penk is looking more and more like a winner.
Yeah, and our men's 20 elite course is now pretty much wrapped up. So Cooper Hawley's going to come away with the win. Sam Wolford second, Ewan Best in third. And there's 13 seconds splitting those three.
And Ewan Shingler is 44 seconds down on Ethan Penk at the pre-warning for the run-through. That puts him in fourth place behind Patrick Jaffe and Felix Hunt.
Is Felix Hunt here?
Yep, Felix is now coming up, and this looks to me like maybe a third place.
He's going to perhaps run himself into a podium position.
So Ethan, the hot seat
Felix
sitter.
has dropped into second place here. So in the men's 21 elite course, Ethan still holds the lead, 15.10. He is miles ahead of everyone.
And
Felix
there's the
Hunt
last
is
runner
in second.
through the run-through, Ewan Shingler, but 44 seconds down on Ethan.
So Ewan is running for a podium position. He can't win really at this stage. He's running for a podium position. It's going to be very close. At the moment, it's Ethan, Felix, Leith. But I suspect we've got Patrick and Ewan.
And here comes Patrick into the last control.
Patrick was second fastest through the spectator control. We'll see how he's held the last parts together and whether he can keep himself on the podium.
Strong finish.
And he has. He's dropped himself 1 second ahead of Felix Hunt. So he's put himself into second. He's dropped Felix down to third. There's 1 second between those two, but of course we know there's one more runner out on the field. And time-wise, he is capable of running into second or third.
So Ewan Shingler, the last starter, the last finisher, can get himself onto the podium.
It's going to be a win for Ethan. Ethan I hope he's enjoyed those foot rubs he's been getting.
And we're waiting, left or right. Here he is.
It's going to come down to the last few seconds. Ethan's wrapped it up, but what is the final podium going to look like? Patrick, then Felix, but can Ewan get himself onto the podium? Oh, the suspense.
Yes!
He's come home. I can't believe it. It looks like a dead heat, actually, for second place. So it's Ethan who's run away with the win in 15:10. It looks like Patrick Jaffe and Ewan Shingler have split second place, both 15:55, and I feel sorry for Felix Hunt because he's missed out on a place by 1 second, Nick.
How close is that? That's exciting. That's sprint orienteering. That's fantastic. So I'd like to thank Serena for her courses today because that's certainly created some real excitement. And we thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, and look, I've got to say, the women obviously ran a bit better. They ran 15:09 for the course, whereas the men only ran 15:10. So the women's have done slightly better from the course times. But I tell you what, the men really did create some excitement for those last final podium positions.
Absolutely.
Good job.
What a good day. Thank you. There's been a cryptic crossword being run. If anyone's got a completed cryptic crossword and they fancy winning a special prize, could you take your cryptic crossword up to Rego and they'll make a judgment and Hillary will go up there and maybe award you something special.
remaining person. Frankie got a place today.
I was going to make sure I got him.
Presentation will be very shortly, so I would suggest you stay around. We still have some random prizes to give away. Stay around and congratulate our winners from today. As soon as I have results, we will start the presentation.
You can't really go wrong. Just go with it.
David Hogg, are you around? David Hogg?
Could I just announce that the clubs that lent us gear that's on the truck, if anyone from the clubs in New South Wales could claim that gear and take it back, that would be very much appreciated. It's over behind the download. We're in the process of unloading the truck. If you've got gear there, could you please take it if possible? Otherwise it will end up on outside my house somewhere. We've also got the presentation coming up. We'd really like as many people to stay as possible for that. And if anyone would like to help Serena get the controls in, please come over to the download tent and let Serena know that you're willing to go and get 4 or 5 controls. That would be really much appreciated.
Anyone who was in the Bush Rangers team that represented Australia and Pine Stars, could you come down to the podium, please? Anna Sheldon, are you still here? If you are, could you come down to the presentation area, please? Frederick, if you are out there, can you come down to the presentation area as well, please? Hillary? Could we have representatives of the Bush Rangers and Pine Stars to the presentation area, please?
Is there someone still out on the course?
Bush Rangers and Pine Stars representative, down here, please. In the corner of the top car park is the registration, and they have a lot of lost property: compasses, control description holders, clothing. Please avail yourself of that if you have left something behind over the last week. Anna Babington and Phoebe Hunt, can you please come down here? Natasha said you know all about the NOL point score?
We just got to get, I don't know. Tash, we just need a photo of everyone together.
Just getting their trophies.
Okay.
And we may do those later, he said as well, with the general presentation.
Yeah. Do you want to say black tops?
What? Sorry?
Just
Yeah.
why are they here?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it on? Hello. Oh, hi everybody. So just we added in an extra little fun competition amongst all the rest of the stuff that was going on this week. We've got the Bush Rangers, the Australian team here on the left, and the Pine Stars from New Zealand on the right. We're very happy that all these Kiwis have come over and supported this event. And every year we try and run a Bush Rangers versus Pine Stars competition for the elite, for the men's and women's 20s and men's and women's 21s. And this year, well, sorry, not this year, because we have already had one competition and the King's birthday weekend, and we got, I think, pretty smashed by the Kiwis. But now it's our turn to have a win, and I'm happy to say that this week the Bush Rangers are the winners. So congratulations, guys. So well done, and we'll just take a photo.
Some have come back, but others placed them here. No worries.
You still have power down on the main one.
No, don't. I've put a battery in it.
Yeah, don't worry about them.
Who knows where? Yes,
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start the presentation. So everyone, have a seat. Well, here we are on the final day. What a terrific week we've had. And the weather has just got better and better all week. So thank you to the organisers for organising this fantastic weather. We started off the week not so good, but it's just been terrific. There's quite a few thank yous I'd like to do today. Some of those people you will have met already, but some who have put in hours and hours of work. I'm going to start, first of all, with today's coordinator, who was Serena Doyle, and I'm hoping she's still here, not collecting controls. And the controller today was Nick Dent. So if I can ask those people to come down to the podium. Serena and Nick, can you just come over here very quickly? Up here, Serena. Come on. You'll have to take your cap off too. They don't take photos with the cap on. Where's Nick? Calling Nick Dent. Right. I think I'll hand to Alice now before I do these other and do that very quickly. Here is Nick Dent. He come out of hibernation. Right. I'd like to call Ron Pallas down to the podium, please. This carnival, as some of you may be aware, has been in the making since 2021. It was postponed in 22, couldn't hold it in 23, and here we are.
That's why I like
the arena setup, the finish shoot, the whole thing were the ideas of this gentleman here, and he has spent hours out here in Armidale, and the person who has been in control of all those electronic and all the finishes and so on is Ron Pallas. So I'd like you to sincerely thank these two gentlemen for all the work and time they've spent in organising this event. And I'm going to ask Hilary to come up here as well, because Hilary is Nick's wife, and you can imagine she has also spent a lot of time up here and had a lot of work to do. The other, I can't name all our volunteers individually, but there is one other person, and she's probably not here, and that's Julia Prudhoe. She has been responsible for the starts every day of the 7 days of competition. Where is she?
She should be up there.
Oh, here she comes. She's the start guru. Ron's the finish guru. And thank you also to all the volunteers that Julia had at the start.
Yep, I'm no good on my own, but all the start team were absolutely amazing, and I thank you so much for making it so much easier for me. Thank you.
And another person is Lindy Hewson, who was looked after all the schools competition and the schools accommodation and all the logistics around that school competition. So thank you to Lindy. I don't know that she's here. But also to all of these people over here, you can see in the orange shirts, all these volunteers who have worked on all the different things for the carnival. Yeah, no. All those people who volunteered and looked after all and got you guys out in the bush or out in the sprint area. Here's Lindy. This is the lady who's worked extremely hard looking after all the schools, competition and all the things to do with the schools. So thank you, Lindy. You can stand up there. You can take your photo.
Would have been hard.
I was supposed to do it. Thank you. All right, I'm going to hand over, and I want to thank Alice Prudhoe, has been looking after the mini... Alice Martin, sorry. Forgot she changed the name. Who's been looking after the mini canap that's been over there that the kids have been enjoying. She has a few prizes to hand out. Want me to say?
Thanks, Robin. Again, just wanted to give a big shout out to Bridget Uphill's Kiddo program, but also a big thank you to Nick and Hilary, because they put in a huge amount of effort organising the mazes and the boulder challenge yesterday, which was enjoyed by young and old. We had some big kids as well as some little kids loving it, and they commented on how awesome it was. So thank you so much. I've got a few prizes to give out for yesterday and today. So if I say your name, do you want to come up and get a prize? Florence Crane, Elodie Walters, Neo Cosma, Eli Goodchild, Rui Blewett-Jones, Freya Dent, Lucy Jenkins and William Martin. And there's absolutely no nepotism there whatsoever. So their prizes... the prizes are for the fastest beat challenge, yes. Sorry. And the fastest mazes today. So these guys did a great effort. Awesome all round. Congratulations.
Next part of the presentation is some presentations from OA, Orienteering Australia. I'm going to ask Frederick, who's responsible for the point score for the National Orienteering League, and there are some prizes for some of those people.
Oh, okay. Hello again, everybody. The high performance group, we're just going to announce the winners of the National Orienteering League Teams competition. It was extended this year to include the Oz Champs. But we'd also like to say thank you to the organiser. I'm sure somebody else is going to jump up and say that, but I'd like to say a huge thanks to you guys, to you all, because it's been fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so Frederick's going to read out the winners. So in...
Well, men 21, we have New South Wales Stingers. Okay, and women's 21, Canberra Cockatoos. Men 20, New South Wales Stingers. And women's 20, New South Wales Stingers. Can you please all, some representatives from each state come down and accept the trophy?
Yeah, okay, so can we have the New South Wales in the women's 20, men's 20, men's 21 come down, and women's 21 Canberra Cockatoos. Come on, run down, get a photo. Sure, you've got some energy left, come on. No. Is that it? So this is senior women's Canberra Cockatoos. Okay, Nia is wondering, and Oscar, they're wondering where their teammates are. Come on. I think you can all jump up with your trophies, jump in little groups of your age group, jump up. Senior men's. Are there any senior men New South Wales Stingers? Okay, we've got one. Jump up, jump up. Squeeze in.
Is Anna Sheldon out there, or has she already? Or Claire Hawthorne? That's okay. Blair? I'm going to call on Blair Trewin from Orienteering Australia to present the resident men's 20 elite champion and the resident women's 21 elite champion. The men's 21 elite resident champion is Ethan Pink from South Australian Arrow. any elites who haven't returned their trackers, can you take them up to the registration, which is up in the corner of the car park, please? Oh, wait till I get the women. Wait till I get the woman. The women's resident elite Australian sprint champion is Michaela Cooper from Australopa. Is Michaela here? Stay there, stay up there. Well, there was someone from Esperance-Suanta, I don't think that's Australia, and someone from Peninsula and Plains, and I think that's New Zealand. Congratulations to our resident champions. So I'm going to call the men's 21 elite place getters for today. First was Ethan Penk, second was Patrick Jaffe, and third was Felix Hunt. If you can come down to the podium, please. Yeah, you can present. You can help. And the women's 21 elites are Hanni Hilo, Kaya Jorgensen, and Michaela Cooper. Now I'm going to move to men's 20 elite. First place was Cooper Hawley from New South Wales. Second was Sam Woolford from New South Wales. And third was Ewan Best from Tasmania. And the women's 20 elite, first place is Nia Shingler from New South Wales. Second is Mila Key from Victoria. And third is Anna Babington from New Zealand. Right, while they're getting their photos done, we'll do some random prizes. Peter O'Loughlin, Marguerite O'Rourke, Maria Orr, Mark Overton, Matthew Palmer, Bruce Patterson, Jeff Peel, Ethan Penk, Naomi Penton, Alison Power. Thank you to Blair for those presentations. Thank you. I'm going to ask Nick Dent to come and help us do presentations with Hillary. Right, I want all the men's and women's 10N to come down here to the podium, please. All the men's and women's 10N. Right, there's some things down here from lost property. Water bottle, a hat, a jumper, 2 compasses. Come down here and see Maria. There's a few grandkids in there. Okay. The things that people left in the quarantine are being brought over here to the finish tent. So if you had left something in the quarantine area, it will be over here shortly. Right, men's 10. First place, Benji White from Auckland. Second place, Maxwell Povar from Bennelong. Matthias Preston from Central Highlands. Matthias has got his medal. Women's 10. First place, Rui Blewett Jones. Second place, Lucy Jenkins. And third place, Chloe McCant. The next ones I present are going to get a compass. I'm going to call men's and women's 12 shortly, and they are going to get an extra special prize today. We have some compasses that are being donated by Willow Sports, and there's some here that we will give to these junior athletes. So, men's 12. First place, Ewan Shedden. Second place, Patrick Mandrell. And third place, Quinn Lomas. Women's 12. First place, Tessa Radajewski. Second, Layla Dent. And third, Isabel Newton. Sorry, I forgot to announce what. We have two from ACT and one from Newcastle, that's the women. And the men, we have Southern Highlands, Bushflies and Lost.
Oh, that's Ewan. Hey, Ewan.
Men's 14A. First place, Hayden Dent from the ACT. Second place, Rory Shedden from Southern Highlands. And third place, Rowan Braid from Colgan, 225. Is that New Zealand? South Australia. Oh, sorry. West Australia. Oh, my apologies. Women's 14. First place, Sophie Hurd from Auckland. Second place, Maggie Borzon from Auckland. And third place, Jemima Hoskins from Southland. Oh, clean sweep New Zealand. Men's 16A. Men's 16A. First place, Eli Dent. Second place, from Red Roos. Second place, Miles Bryant from Inogaroos. And third place, Blake McKinnon from Counties Manitoba. Women's 16. 16A. First place, Zara Toes from Auckland. Second place, Greta Prince, Peninsula and Plains. And third place, Ariadna Ishakova. Men's 18. First place, Finn Van Coolen from Peninsula and Plains. Second, Thomas Potts, Hawke's Bay. Third place, Solomon Randerson, Auckland. Another clean sweep from New Zealand. Women's 18A. First place, Rebecca Craig from New South Wales. Second, Lani Murray from Nelson. And third place, Madeline Bell from Auckland. Right, while we're getting those organised, I'll call some more random prizes. Bryony Seaman, Linda Zester, Anna Sheldon, Helen Sheridan, Frankie Shin, Neil Simpson, Matthew Slater, Andrew Smith, Nick Smith. Men's 21A, Ian De Jong, apologies, from Canberra Cockatoos. Women's 21A, Monica Lee from Goringal, first place. Second place, Anna Dowling from Goal Seekers. And third place, Nina Davis from Bushflyers. Men's 35. First place, Eric Smythe. Second place, Dave Meyer. Third place, Andrew Slattery. Women's 35, Taria Smythe. Second, Bronwyn Stafford. Third, Naomi Schooler from Newcastle. Men's 40, first place, Matthew Crane from Abominable Omen. Second, Ricky Thackeray from The Bowman. Third, James McQuillan, Western Hills. Women's 40, first place, Felicity Brown. Second place, Mace Deans. Third place, Vicky Say. Men's 45. First place, Gareth Tandy. Second place, Aaron Prince. Third place, Ben Schultz. We have ACT, New Zealand and Queensland. And women's 45A, Kathy Dent from the ACT, Rachel West from, is that Queensland, and WA, and third place Sarah Prince from New Zealand. Right, we'll do some more random prizes. Duncan Curry, Nicola Dalheim, Robin De Senza, Warwick Davis, Ian De Jong, Freya Dent, Oscar Dent, there's a lot of dents, Dave Dorling, Serena Doyle, men's 50A. First place, Bruce Arthur, Melbourne Forest. Second, Grant Blewett, Abominable O'Neill. And third, Andy Hogg, Paralenga. Women's 50, Kathy McComb, Australopers. Claire Hawthorne, Australopers. And Jenny Adams, Peninsula and Plain. Oh, yes, we have Richard Morris, a tie for third. Is Richard here? Is Richard here? Here he comes. Men's 55. First place, Eric Morris from Bennelong. Second place, Gavin Milne from Auckland. And third place, Rui Afnan from Yalenga. Women's 55, Barbara Hill. First place, Barbara Hill from Garingal. Second place, Jennifer Endy, Newcastle. And third place, Anna-Marie Viriko from Helsingin. Suandis. My Swedish is not good. Swedish, is it, or is it fun? Men's 60. First place, Greg Barber from Bigfoot. Second place, Tony Bulford, Ocean Beach. And third place, Warren Key, Melbourne Forest Races. Women's 60. First place, Paula Shingler. Second place are from Bigfoot. Second place, Sue Hancock, Australopers. And third place, Carolyn Matthews from Newcastle.
Robin.
There's a pair of shoes here and a drink bottle. If you've lost them, they're here. They were in quarantine, so someone's left them in quarantine. Men's 65. First place, Jeff Lawford, Abominable Omen. Second place, Tim Hatley, Bayside Kangaroos. Third place, Martin Crosby from Auckland. Women's 65. First place, Joanne Woods. Second place, Gillian Ingham from Wellington. And third place, Carolyn Jackson, Bayside Kangaroos. Men's 70, Ted Van Geldermossen. First place, Yarra Valley. Second, Pat Bodger, Peninsula and Plains. And third place, Jeff Armstrong, Nillumbik Emus. Women's 70, Jenny Bourne, Abominable Omen. Sue Key, Melbourne Forest Races. And Louise Fairfax, Australopers. I think that was the same, is that the same three as yesterday for the women's 70? Slightly rearranged. Men's 75. First, Tony Radford. Second, Rob Garden. Tony Radford from Bendigo. Second, Rob Garden from Northwest. Third, Paul Hickman from Juringa. Women's 75. First, Pat Meeky, Parawenga. Second, Robin Spears, Ugly Gully. And third, Dorothy Kane, Wellington. I'll do some random prizes. There's only a few left. Right, Suzanne Carrier, Zoe Carter. Michaela Cooper, Matthew Cohen, Joseph Tolman, Martin Crosby.
That sounds like Marina. Especially when they would introduce themselves. But anyway, yep, now we'll have to come over. Yeah. See ya. Thank you so much. How lovely. Congratulations, you've done great. Thank you.
Is there someone from the ACT can take Pat's medal? Men's 80, first place, Alex Tarr from Yarra Valley. Second place, Darryl Urbacher from Parawanga. And third place, David Hogg from Parawanga. I want to thank David for this week because David's been looking after all the trophies from Orienteering Australia and doing a fine job of getting them to me and making sure that I know who they go to. So thanks, David.
I know you're going the wrong way.
Women's 80. First place, Judy Hertz from Bayside Kangaroos. Second place, Jean Baldwin, Gold Seekers. Third place, Anne Ingerson from Parawanga.
Oh, I did very much. That was the one day, so. That's the easiest way to prepare. No, well that's the same times I think I was. So is it the spring or is it?
Men's 85. First place, Lloyd Gledhill from Garingal. Second, John Hodson, Southern Highlands. And third, Basil Baldwin from Gold Seekers. Women's 85. Janet Morris from Western Hills. And second, Helen Alexander, Bayside Kangaroos. Men's Open B, Finn Mackay first. Frankie Shin second from Dandenong. Third place Ian Duncan from Sunshine Orienteers. Women's Open B, first Lawrence Brueggemann. Second from Uringa. Second Kirsty Dunn from Hastings. And third Saffron Sweeney from Western Hills.
All right.
And last but not least, Open Easy. First place Thomas Dunn from Hastings.
Definitely.
Second place Adiza Cosma from Bayside Kangaroos. And third Veronica Ishikova from Red Room. And Ryan Preston.
I think it's both of them. I'll take it again. Well, I just think it's between them. So, you'd like to, but...
Those people from Open Easy, not here.